Selamat pagi diucapkan kepada semua. Terima kasih kepada semua yang meluangkan masa untuk bersama kita. Saya dari Institute of Human Centered Engineering menganjurkan satu webinar lah yang akan menerangkan dan memberi pendedahan kepada semua berkenaan dengan TRL ataupun Teknologi Readiness Level. Alright. Saya rasa semua maklum bahawa pada masa kini TRL kerap digunakan dan diperkatakan. Alright. TRL ni adalah term yang biasa digunakan di industri untuk melihat tahap maturity of teknologi. Nowadays dah mula digunakan di universiti, dah mula digunakan oleh kementerian, especially dalam, kita tengok recently dalam pembukaan geran-geran baru, term TRL sangat-sangat kerap dipergunakan. Alright, tapi untuk to be able to prepare ourselves to that kind of requirement, saya rasa kita perlukan sedikit I would say pendedahan, understanding on bagaimana kita nak classify kita punya research mengikut TRL yang tertentu lah. For example, kalau kementerian ataupun industri nakkan satu teknologi dan dia minta teknologi itu duduk pada TRL 7 atau 8. So we have to check again, kita bersedia tak untuk TRL tersebut, dan saya pasti setiap TRL level tu ada dia punya syarat, ada dia punya kriteria ada. Alright, so untuk tujuan itu iHumEn mengambil langkah proaktif. Kita jemput pihak ICC untuk memberikan sedikit taklimat kepada kita supaya kita lebih faham apa itu TRL. Alright, so bersama-sama saya kita ada Dr. Azlin dan juga Siti Zulfarina yang akan membantu kita untuk memberikan taklimat. Alright, saya jemput Dr. Azlin untuk mulakan. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Dr. Kamarul. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So suara saya okey ya? Dengar ya? Okey. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera to everyone. Distinguished audience, professors, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you for inviting Innovation and Commercialization Center ICC to share our thoughts and practices on the title highlighted here on the slide. The introduction to the Technology Readiness Level TRL. Macam yang Dr. Kamarul sebut tadi, slide baru keluar ke? Okay, sorry. Macam yang Dr. Kamarul sebut tadi, TRL has been used widely nowadays, locally. Last time it was just used by other countries, especially in US and especially in UK, but not much in Malaysia. But lately, we can say like 5 years ago, we have started to use the words and terminology of TRL. What is TRL now? How can we fit with our ecosystem, and how can we reach the best achievement and understanding by using TRL and fit with our current development? So what is TRL actually? So let me introduce myself first. My name is Azlin binti Abdul Jamil, and for information, we at ICC gathered some experts. Well, saya boleh, jika boleh dikatakan experts in various fields of expertise. Contohnya, like me myself, graduated in bachelor degree computer engineering, master and PhD in technology, management technology, whereby my colleague who will speak about the title today with me, who will give the talk about the understanding of technology readiness level with us today, Ms. Siti Zulfarina, graduated her bachelor degree and master in biology engineering from UIA, if I'm not mistaken, and we are going to share with you our understanding as well as practices on technology readiness level. So, macam slide dah bergerak 2 lebih awal. Okay. Thank you. So this is the presentation outline with the objective to provide a basic understanding to researchers what is TRL and how to approach and match it with existing product development. Our talk today will oblige with the allocated 40 minutes for the talk, concluding the first concept of TRL, and then we are going to discuss on TRL overview concept as a whole, and before discussing about a few examples, and take up any questions for Q&A. So, how to TRL? Kalau tajuknya, I want to make it catchy, but finally I decided to put how to TRL, how to reach TRL, how to best practice TRL. So, we ask ourselves, why suddenly TRL? TRL, Technology Readiness Level, is a framework. It's actually a framework to estimate and the maturity of a product development, readiness of a technology. So let us discuss first on the compound of terminologies and definition that related to TRL. Okay. So in order to understand TRL, share with you, TRL actually was initiated by NASA nearly 5 decades ago while pioneering their rockets launch industry. The business involved and ventured by many of their stakeholders, including internal and external researchers, inventors, investors, as well as other stakeholders. And via pioneering this to the world, their plan execution was tremendous and eye-opening until they faced certain challenges that made them fail to achieve certain level of expectation. This is what NASA have experienced. There were complications in their rocket launching that brought them, that brought the whole committee of NASA actually to think about a method or framework that can actually consolidate understanding between between the development groups, product development groups, as well as the management and investors group, towards ensuring the success of the launching program that they aim for. Okay. NASA realized that when the process of delivering the technology to launch, they find out some failures, and they think that this failure must have come to some certain understanding, must come to one common understanding that will make the investor not to misunderstand the definition of what the development groups presented, so that they will not fall to urge the launching of the rocket at the wrong timing. So TRL was primarily designed during that time, being a method and with the simple words to get common understanding and estimate to be the estimation of NASA's execution. So what is it about TRL? How can it fit with the technology? So we understand that the word of technology itself means the exploitation of knowledge for the purpose of upgrading or manipulating human life to be more practical. I highlight again the word, even the terminologies, the phrase TRL stated technology in the first place, which means TRL can only be assessed onto products that they are tangible. That go through one certain level of inventiveness processes. Okay, so if you question me, if you ask me, is social science product output? I mean, is social science study output can fit? Can use TRL to assess their readiness or to assess their product output, their research output? I should say no. Social science studies don't actually fit with TRL. Don't actually need to use TRL to actually assess the readiness of their research output. Technology readiness level is used to products that are tangible and have an inventive steps of product development. So let us discuss furthermore about the idea of technology and readiness level. So innovation, how actually TRL be implemented in innovation level of understanding? How can investor invest in which TRL, in which readiness level? What method to be used? What method to be used by the researchers to upgrade and improve their readiness level from their product readiness level from lower to upper level? And in fact, the researchers as well as the investors who wants to exploit and venture into the product exploitation, they both must understand the intellectual property lies behind the technology developed. Okay, which IP is more suitable with the technology and product development, and how to exploit the IP accordingly. So both exploiter, the producer, which are the researchers, as well as investors who want to invest on the product exploitation and commercialization, has to understand these basic terminologies as well, and the following through of the processes. So this is where common understanding has to be in place. So I have not yet discussed on the technical terms of TRL. Siti Zulfarina next will discuss about it, but in order to make you understand on how TRL can fit with our ecosystem and current development, you must also understand the social connection between these informations with your product development. Okay, so and last but not least, the organization. Who are the stakeholders that can actually fit to invest to the product exploitation, or in fact, in the first place, the researchers who wants to recruit their team members, they may need to understand the TRL concept and the product readiness level in order to recruit the right and best performed team members to be their team members and inventors, product inventors. This is not leaving behind the understanding of the concept of intellectual property that I mentioned just now. So mentioning about IP and policy, so one needs to understand that knowing the development of the product is consuming investment of time, money, as well as effort. So the involved parties has to understand and comply with all the needs. What are the needs? Okay. These are the needs. Macam kompleks sikit slide ni, tapi tak apa. This should be the conclusion of this explanation for this talk today, actually. But before we go through and discuss in depth with this slide, okay, let me just go through the whole concept of TRL. Okay, researchers have to understand how to fit their understanding on a readiness level of their product into which level of demand and requirement of the recipient or beneficiaries of the product. So, for example, you will talk to funder in order for you to further develop your product. Why? You may want to talk to funder in order to get funding, in which level, and in order for you to prepare yourself and pitch to the funder, you have to, in the first place, understand, of course, the criteria of the funding. And after you have understood the criteria, you have to prepare a good application and proposal to fit with the funding requirement. So funders nowadays always ask, so what TRL is your product now? So the answer is here. You have to prepare yourself in order to apply for funding. At the level of TRL 3, you have to have completed all the process of basic principle observation. You have to have completed the formulation of your ideation, as well as at the level of proof of concept. Before you are granted the fund, you must already have prepared your understanding on you have to project in the first place the development of the product throughout the process of product development using the money granted by the funders, so-called. So about the training, in order to convince the funder to grant the fund to the applicant, to the researchers, they must convince the funder with their skill and ability, that with certain level of certifications that they have passed through, as well as they have gone through, with which mentors it is better if you have gone through a mentoring processes and activities with a prominent mentor, so that the funders get convinced with your proposal, and convinced that you will actually deliver the activity of product development successfully. So about it is as the same as IP policy as well exploitation. Let me keep some of the points to the final conclusion of this talk. So I really want to ask us to focus next to the technical term and processes of technology readiness level to be presented by colleagues Ms. Siti Zulfarina. Siti Zulfarina, up to you, introducing you to be the next speaker. Siti Zulfarina, boleh continue with the next slide.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all the audience. So basically, today I'm just going to share you about the TRL. What is TRL? But di apa yang berkenaan dengan TRL, pengenalan berkenaan TRL telah diperkenalkan oleh Dr. Azlin sebelum ini, dan saya hanya akan berkongsi sedikit berkenaan dengan overview of the TRL itu sendiri. So basically TRL ni seperti yang telah diperkenalkan adalah merupakan satu method atau satu kaedah yang digunakan dalam mengenal pasti ataupun dalam menentukan tahap kematangan sesuatu teknologi atau produk semasa dalam pembangunan produk tersebut lah. So TRL ini dibangunkan oleh NASA pada tahun 1977 dan kemudian telah diadaptasikan dalam industri aeronautics pada tahun 1980, dan pada tahun 1990 telah diadaptasikan juga dalam industri elektronik dan pharmaceutical industry, dan sehingga kini TRL ini telah di-generalizekan untuk digunakan dalam semua industri yang berkaitan dengan teknologi yang merangkumi daripada idea asal teknologi berkenaan kepada commercial deployment. Okay, TRL currently TRL consists of 9 levels yang merangkumi, yang setiap level ini akan menentukan atau akan mengkarakteristikkan sesuatu pembangunan teknologi itu berdasarkan kepada kematangan dia, yang berasal daripada just mere idea pada TRL 1 sehingga kepada full deployment of the market pada level 9. Okay, di sini dinyatakan apa itu TRL 1 sehingga 9 ini, dan biasanya pada TRL 1 adalah merupakan satu basic research sahaja, di mana dia basic principles telah dikenal pasti dan direkodkan melalui peer review publication, dan pada TRL 2 dan 3 ni barulah masuk kepada penyelidikan di dalam makmal. Dan pada TRL 4, teknologi development dibangunkan berdasarkan kepada proof of concept yang telah dijalankan pada TRL 2 dan TRL 3. Pada TRL 5 hingga 6 pula, teknologi demonstration akan dilakukan selepas pembangunan teknologi tersebutlah. So setelah demonstrasi dilakukan di dalam makmal berdasarkan kepada environment yang intended environment kepada teknologi tersebut, pembangunan produk akan dihasilkan berdasarkan kepada teknologi berkenaan, dan menjelang penghujung pada pembangunan produk tersebut pada TRL 9, maka produk tersebut telah bersedia dan telah komplit untuk dipasarkan. Okay. Basically ini adalah roadmap dalam teknologi commercialization yang dijalankan di UTM, yang merangkumi kepada 4 fasa, iaitu research pada TRL 1 dan TRL 2, innovation pada TRL 3 dan TRL 4, incubation pada TRL 5 dan TRL 6, dan juga fasa pengkomersialisation pada TRL 7 dan TRL 9. Okey, kita masuk kepada overview kepada TRL berkenaan, iaitu TRL 1 iaitu Basic Principle Observed, di mana peringkat ini adalah peringkat ideation dan juga basic research seperti yang saya katakan tadi. Di tahap ini dia adalah merupakan konsep yang belum di-approvekan lagi, yang belum dibuktikan lagi melalui research ataupun pembangunan di dalam makmal, dan tiada testing yang dilakukan. Ia hanya sekadar research yang dilakukan secara peer review ataupun literature review dan direkodkan melalui peer review publication. Okey, itu pada TRL 1. Dan TRL 2 pula adalah Teknologi Konsep Application Formulated, di mana idea tadi akan diformulasikan berdasarkan konsep dan juga dipunya application, di mana invention dekat sini akan bermula. Basic principle itu akan observe, so practical applications can be formulated. Contohnya, saya ambil contoh pada TRL 1 tadi, anda telah memikirkan satu idea baru, contohnya macam synthetic rubber. So synthetic rubber itu okey, aku jumpa satu compound untuk synthetic rubber ni. Itu TRL 1. Masuk TRL 2, dia akan menentukan rubber ini untuk kegunaan apa. Sebagai contoh, tire. So dia dah mempunyai formulation dan practical application untuk basic principle yang di-observe tadi. Itu pada TRL 2. Dan masuk kepada TRL 3 iaitu untuk experimental proof of concept. Di sinilah baru bermulanya laboratory test completed yang akan membuktikan kepada konsep yang telah kita observe tadi dan telah kita telah kita formulakan tadi, dan dekat sini akan diproofkan melalui first laboratory test. Ya, pada peringkat ini active research and development dimulakan dan mestilah merangkumi analytical studies to set the technology into an appropriate context dan juga laboratory based studies to physically validate that the analytical predictions are correct. So dekat sini merangkumi dua lah, analytical dan laboratory studies. Dan dekat sini juga dia akan akan menentukan ataupun akan diuji kaji yang contoh macam saya ambil tadi, synthetic rubber itu untuk dijadikan tire, dan dia punya akan ditestkan dekat sini sama ada dia boleh tak untuk dijadikan tire, sama ada untuk dia punya strength ataupun forming the capabilities to prove it suitable to make into tire. Okey, itu TRL 3. Bila dah dah diproofkan melalui konsep tadi telah diproofkan melalui lab testing tadi, dia akan component and system development in lab environment. So dia akan dihasilkan lebih banyak, di mana small scale prototype akan dihasilkan lebih banyak dan dia akan diintegratekan dengan dengan bahan-bahan lain untuk membuktikan yang konsep dan proof of concept tadi kita telah boleh digunakan. Okey, dan prototype ini akan dihasilkan dalam built-in laboratory environment. Okey, untuk TRL 5, selepas TRL 4 dia punya prototype telah dihasilkan dan telah ditested dalam built-in laboratory, dia akan mendapat validation dalam relevant environment, di mana prototype, small scale prototype tadi akan dikembangkan menjadi large scale dan akan diuji kaji di dalam situasi ataupun keadaan yang lebih kurang sama dengan apa yang yang sepatutnya. Contohnya macam tadi tire tadi, mula-mula kita testkan dekat laboratory secara small scale dan kita kembangkan dia menjadi large scale prototype, dan dia akan ditestkan di situasi ataupun di keadaan yang sebenar, tetapi dia macam ditestkan dalam keadaan yang lebih kurang sebenar yang akan kita gunakan selepas ini. So dekat sini akan menentukan sama ada critical functions dia, associated subsystem and component tu diidentifikan. Lepas tu adakah relevant environment difinaliskan, dan di sini di integrated system, so tested in intended environment. Itu TRL 5 dan masuk pula kepada fasa 6 selepas prototype, large scale prototype dalam intended environment tadi telah diluluskan dan telah mendapat keputusan yang sepatutnya kita dapat. Di sinilah prototype sistem akan bermula, di mana pilot scale validated in relevant environment. Dia akan digunakan dalam keadaan yang sebenar. Maksud dia, kalau contoh macam tayar tadi, sebelum ini kita hanya testkan dia pada tayar sahaja, pada rim tayar sahaja tanpa menggunakan kenderaan. So pada tahap TRL 6 ini, tayar berkenaan akan dipasang pada satu kenderaan dan akan ditestkan dalam di atas jalan raya yang sebenar. Ini untuk kita tested in intended environment close to expected performance. Okay, di jalan raya lah dia akan menentukan sama ada dia punya ketahanan tayar itu boleh digunakan di atas jalan raya ataupun tidak, ataupun ada perlukan ada lagi sedikit pembangunan yang lain yang diperlukan untuk diintegratekan di dalam prototype tersebut. Okay, selepas diuji kaji atau ditestkan pada keadaan sebenar dalam keadaan prototype, dan dia akan mendapat full scale demonstration in relevant environment. So di sinilah tayar itu akan dibuat demonstration untuk operating in operational environment at pre-commercial scale. So dekat sini dia akan mendapat verifikasi kepada prototype sistem tersebut, di mana sama ada dia boleh digunakan ataupun tidak boleh digunakan. Okay, selepas di-verifiedkan dan dah divalidatekan oleh pengguna sebenar, bila sudah memenuhi segala requirement yang diperlukan pada TRL 8 ini, produk atau sistem itu telah bersedia dan telah disertifiedkan dan telah kiranya pada TRL 8 ni telah mendapat certification untuk tayar tersebut digunakan dan boleh bersedia untuk dikeluarkan. So di sini manufacturing issues are solved. Okay, dan selepas telah mendapat certification dan juga condition proven work, the work is proven, the system is complete and proven, dan barulah kita akan pergi kepada actual system operated for range conditions pada TRL 9. Di sinilah aplikasi full commercialization akan berjalan. Okay, dan telah bersedialah untuk dipasarkan. So itu saja daripada saya. Terima kasih. Kalau ada apa-apa soalan.
Okay. Baik, terima kasih Dr. Azlin dan juga Siti Zulfarina for the pencerahan lah kepada kita, alright. So basically saya harap semua lebih kurang maklum dan faham. Kalau tak faham boleh basically put on the question into the comments. We will basically pick up from there and saya akan minta panel speaker untuk menjawab lah. Alright, so basically saya boleh summarize di sini. There are altogether 1 to 9 level of TRL. Basically the yang paling awal, satu to represent the idea, the formulation of basically the first inception of the idea, the formula of kita nak tengok benda ni can be done or not. Maybe we try our simulation in the computer and all that. Then this thing move on to 2 dan 3, we basically try to 2, 3, 4, we try to put it into the lab punya prototype, lab level prototype. Mungkin kita buat a few sample, kita buat a few real experiments to see that benda ni work ke tak dengan existing technology or what. And maybe just that very small unit module on its own based on the formula and simulation, kita try to buat dekat lab mungkin menggunakan test rig atau apa saja just on that particular module to check whether dia work ke tak work. And then we move on kepada 3-4 punya level, kita basically fabricate the idea, kita make into a lab level complete prototype dan kita nak uji di persekitaran yang kita kawal contohnya. Alright. For example, dekat sini saya tambah sikit before we go on into question and answers. Okay, kalau you buat robot untuk work into the laut dalam contohnya. Alright. So TRL 3-4 ni lebih kurang you test dekat kolam ke, tasik ke, ataupun dekat lab you ada tangki air yang besar you boleh test. So basically if you dah conduct the test, you dah capai TRL 3-4, something like that. So moving forward, itu yang tadi disebut sebagai environment yang kita kita kawal, bukan environment sebenar. Alright. So if you move forward kepada TRL 567, you are taking your prototype yang proven to work in the environment yang you control, you take it out to the real environment, dan you tengok dia punya performance, you collect, buat dia punya data collection and all that. So bila benda tu dah lepas, mungkin in that level you get some feedback daripada user yang you bersama-sama dengan you masa you uji lah contohnya. Alright. Bila user dah bagi feedback, you are okay with that, maknanya dekat tengah laut nanti you should be able to do the job. And then bila you dah improve that, you go to TRL 789. This is where you orang kata user tu guna without you are there to supervise the macam-macam situation. So this is more or less level yang dah orang kata boleh go to the market, ready to go to the market. You can produce basically mass produce and all. Alright, as you all noticed tadi during the presentation, ada elemen-elemen of standards, ada elemen-elemen of certification. Of course benda tu wujud pada certain TRL, but eventually bukan bila you sampai pada that TRL baru you prepare for certification or standard conformity. You have to plan daripada TRL 1 lagi, apa standard-standard yang you kena follow, apa conformity test yang you kena follow, supaya bila you sampai for that TRL, the test standard or the system specs yang you develop dah eventually confirm. Tunggu you nak hantar untuk pengujian sahaja for licensing ke something like that. Alright, so I think with that, I think I will go for the first punya question tadi daripada Nabil Yahya, I think is there. Alright, untuk saya lupa nak maklum, untuk makluman kita punya program is live broadcast dekat YouTube and Facebook dalam iHumEn social media. I hope you can basically follow through kita punya program through kita punya Facebook, Twitter and all that. Alright. First question is how long usually it takes for the maturity period of the product to be marketed. Ni I would say daripada TRL 1 to TRL 9 lah kot. Alright. Saya jemput pihak ICC untuk menjawab, please.
Okay, berapa panjang masa untuk kita kena pasti produk itu untuk dimarketkan. Ia bergantung kepada produk yang akan dihasilkan. Jika produk tersebut telah melalui setiap fasa ataupun setiap setiap requirement yang diperlukan sebelum masuk kepada TRL 9 itu, dia dah boleh dah boleh dipasarkan lah. Maksudnya dia dah melalui laboratory research, dah proven dekat situ, proof of concept, dah pergi kepada development, dah pergi kepada demonstration, dah dapat certification of the teknologi tu, dah certified yang bahawa teknologi yang diciptakan telah memenuhi apa yang diperlukan, seperti apa yang diperlukan oleh problem yang akan disolvekan. So dah melalui product development, dah dapat certification semua, dia selepas dapat melepasi fasa-fasa tersebut dan produk itu telah boleh dipasarkan. Sebenarnya TRL ini yang kita bincangkan pada hari ini hanyalah secara general sahaja, yang kebiasaannya fasa-fasa tersebut mesti dilalui oleh teknologi-teknologi yang kebanyakan teknologi yang ada sekarang lah. Certain teknologi sebenarnya tidak dia tidak sepatut macam ni, dia tidak perlu pun sebenarnya melalui TRL ini sebelum dipasarkan, tapi dia kena ada dia punya proven lah certificate validation yang tertentu lah yang membuktikan bahawa teknologi tersebut boleh memenuhi function yang diperlukan. Macam tu. Itulah dia subjektif. Dia punya masa timeline tu adalah subjektif kepada teknologi tersebut lah. Okay, hope itu menjawab lah.
Alright, thank you very much, Siti. Alright, so I would basically summarize from there. Tempoh ni dia tak sama dan dia tak fix untuk semua teknologi dan semua produk. It depends on apa yang you sedang kerjakan dan bidang mana yang sedang kerjakan. Alright. Some research product, it takes long time to move from TRL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all that. Some innovation orang kata low in technology punya depthness, so dia punya time to market is maybe very fast, okay, depending on what you are building. And in some product, it may take some time for you to go through macam clinical trial, for you to go through safety standard punya compliance and all that. And some of the products takes time to get the IP contohnya. So benda ni varies the time tu. I wouldn't see any fixed punya timing. Alright. So the next question here that I can pick up from kita punya comments box is that it says kebanyakan university focus di TRL 1 to 4, alright, and then industry focus on 7 to 8. Grey area antara 4 to 7, alright, and banyak cabaran di kedua-dua pihak lah. Alright, selalunya tak berminat untuk funding dan fokus. So apa yang boleh kita bantu atasi? So this thing, terima kasih Abdul Basit, Abdul Rahman, Universiti, TRL 1 to 4, fundamental, lab level, duduk dekat atas meja dekat lab saja benda tu works. Bila keluar, we don't know, alright. And then industry mostly focus on 7 to 9 because they need product, they need to go fast to the market because they have competition kind of issue. Alright, so ada some kind of gap and some lubang lah in between. So what we can do to solve this issue? Okay, Siti, I pass to you.
Okay, untuk grey area ini, kalau macam sebab dia gap antara universiti dan juga antara komersial industri, dan di tengah-tengah itu industri tak berani nak ambil sebab kemungkinan prototipe yang dihasilkan tidak pun membantu untuk menyelesaikan apa yang diperlukan oleh industri berkenaan. So gap ini mungkinlah kita boleh cuba untuk apply geran-geran daripada kerajaan. Yang dekat ICC pun sebenarnya ada geran yang grey area ini, di mana TRL 4 hingga TRL 7 ni ada, kita ICC ada menyediakan geran untuk tahap-tahap ini dan membantu researcher lah untuk memperkembangkan dia punya teknologi, pembangunan teknologi berkenaan. So untuk saya cakap itulah, dia perlukan kepada researcher tu sendiri yang yang boleh membuktikan dia punya teknologi tu boleh digunakan pakai oleh industri berkenaan lah. So itulah sebab industri kan dia tengok pada teknologi yang dihasilkan yang dapat membantu diorang untuk menyelesaikan masalah-masalah ataupun requirement yang diperlukan. Mungkinlah boleh kita cari fund-fund yang boleh membantu kita untuk dalam pembangunan kita untuk TRL 4 hingga TRL 7 ni. Itulah mungkin sikit saya boleh beritahu. Itu saja.
Alright, thank you. Okay, so from there, I think pihak ICC tadi just mentioned that they have funds that basically boleh bantulah untuk kita orang kata bridge the gap between TRL yang rendah dengan TRL yang lebih tinggi. Right, that's in terms of funding. I think di luar UTM, outside of the university as well, I think the governments are putting funds for, I believe, for all TRL level, because these are the language. TRL is more or less a language that being used for funders, you know, industry and basically government. Cuma di peringkat university, di peringkat penyelidik, you really have to understand this level and you have to prepare yourself to go to each of the level. Alright. Basically tadi yang tanya soalan pun Cik Basit just now ada mention that university TRL 1 to 4, this is what we basically did all this while. Cuma sebelum ni TRL ni tak wujud, so we go on our own development punya understanding. Kita harap apa yang kita develop dekat lab, industri boleh terus guna dan take up, but it doesn't happen sebelum ni. Kita pun, you know, we are facing this kind of issue. I think a lot of parties try to basically address the issue, and until this TRL muncul dengan kita, I think we have more insight of macam mana kita nak develop kita punya produk from idea to the market. So kalau kita follow TRL benda ni guide strictly, I think kita tahu apa yang kita nak buat. Lepas kita dapat simulation result, apa yang kita nak buat. Though we move on the next TRL, because setiap TRL ada dia punya requirement dia. Alright, so I think lebih kurang macam tu lah kot dia punya penerangan and soalan. I think the next question yang I can pick up is that yang bertanya Anazida Zainal, alright, do we need to follow all level? Okay, 1 sampai 9 nak kena ikut setiap level ke atau boleh skip? Or can we skip? Okay, from TRL, example here TRL 4 straight to 6 or 4 or 5, macam tak banyak beza. Alright, mungkin pihak ICC boleh clarify sikit whether skipping ni berlaku ke tak, ataupun macam 4 or 5 macam tak banyak beza pun, memang kena follow ke something like that. Alright, thank you ICC.
Suara saya dah boleh dengar ya, tadi saya offline sebab
Boleh,
internet down, saya minta maaf. Okay, so thank you for the question Dr. Anazida. So do we need to follow all the levels? The answer is yes, because for example, the level of readiness for supplement product has to at least reach the market after they have filed and received the certification by KKM. Okay, and daftar in NPRA, buat a study ke atas like more than 100 specimen atau respondent, so get the good results, and only after that you can get the certificate, and only after that you can bring your product into the market and give to the customer to use. So no, you cannot skip, but you can declare the level of readiness according to the term and period of development of your own product. So for example, kalau Dr. Anazida saya teka bidang IoT, IT ke kan? So IT sedikit lebih banyak lebih pendek life cycle berbanding product development industri lain. Okay, bidang produk daripada bidang lain, mereka kena melalui development proses daripada yang paling penting semasa produk prototype dibangunkan mesti sudah sedia untuk mesti sedia boleh diguna pakai dengan syarat telah tested by SIRIM dan sebagainya. In order for SIRIM to tested, proof of concept dan prototype development at the alpha testing at lab environment mesti sudah selesai. Kalau tidak, in fact SIRIM pun takkan bagi certification and they don't actually prove your application to get SIRIM test your product in the first place. So itu produk-produk selain IT. So kalau IT, life cycle-nya lebih pendek, so development-nya saya faham memang perlu melalui certain level of development. Contoh paling penting, in order to fit with market demand, you need to have to pass the level of user acceptance at least. Kalau you tak try, kalau you have not reached the user acceptance test of level, you might face problem and challenge with madness by the customers bila produk itu masuk ke pasaran dan tidak menepati kehendak pasaran. So user scope, one group of audience has to test it. Who are the scope of audience? That is according to the level of respondent that you want to capture with. So ada method untuk team IT, untuk developer IT tu comply with. So expert yang akan menguji testing sistem yang dibangunkan jika bidang itu berkaitan dengan development of software dan IoT. So after the expert have prove the readiness level of the technology, only after that your product can be used by the customer. Because kenapa? Kerana readiness level ni membuktikan it has to come with proof. You have to prove that your readiness level have reached, have conducted a user acceptance test, contoh. So dengan user acceptance test conducted, you have gathered all the information and systematic data for you to prove to the audience who wants to get to know to the level of your product readiness. So somehow the inventive step has to be in place accordingly, and you cannot skip 1 to 9. But you just can declare it is just the development of the product is shorter than other type of product industry. Macam tu lebih kurang.
All right. Yeah, thank you for the explanation. So again, saya recap again. 1 to 9 basically. Of course, some of the level, for example, 4 to 5, or even before that, they are quite the same. Ada macam blur sikit kat situ. Again, these are the guide, these are the steps which basically you have to prepare your technology as you develop. Setiap level tu ada dia punya requirement and basically proof yang you kena provide. Taking a very small example, produk yang kita dah test dekat lab, alright, and then there's lab punya environment, and next testing is basically dalam environment luar yang terkawal, and next testing is dalam real environment, and next testing is basically dalam environment yang you tak expect. So setiap level testing, setiap TRL level ini memerlukan kita proof that benda ni dah mencapai, supported by data and analysis. Alright, this is very much proof that indicated you dah capai level tu, and of course kalau you pitch ataupun you present you punya produk kepada pihak luar mesti nak tengok benda-benda macam ni. Again, as I mentioned, industry speak in this language, alright, because basically we are developing things to go to the market, which is the industry is there, they would require this kind of thing. Alright, so walaupun nampak a bit grey, walaupun nampak a bit macam sama, basically they are not. Ada dia punya own criteria, and again the speaker says just now, kalau you dah provide the evidence, basically cuma you saja yang tahu, only researchers know dia orang dah prepare apa, dia orang dah level mana. As long as you provide the evidence, you macam dikira skip jugalah lebih kurang. Alright, something like that. So the next question I'm picking up from the comments box daripada Dr. Muhammad Hanif Ramli. Is there any technical team from ICC who could evaluate the project from UTM researcher in deciding which TRL and how we can reach them? Alright, comment from ICC, please.
So okay, jawapan kepada soalan Dr. Hanif, boleh contact any of the officers at ICC. Suka saya menyebutkan saya sendiri, Azlin binti Abdul Jamil, Cik Siti Zulfarina, Cik Nur Diana, Encik Muhammad Fitri, as well as Cik Syahizan. Okay, boleh contact berkenaan teknologi readiness level. Yes, we can help you and facilitate you throughout the process of evaluating the readiness level of your product. InsyaAllah. Contact number nanti boleh masuk website ICC, semua contact number kami ada. Kalau nak sebut kat sini, 0197669000, silakan. Let's be in touch.
Alright. So from the comment box, I don't see any more question. I think saya rasa I think that's very much all the question that we have for the panel. I think kita boleh wrap up the session for today. I think for that, I thank ICC, I thank Siti Zulfarina and Dr. Azlin for being with us today. All right, again, this program is basically organized and brought to you by the Institute of Human-Centered Engineering of UTM. I hope benda ni, I would say, beneficial, and at least it will give you some kind of insight of what TRL is all about. And if you have further questions, you can basically contact us, or you can straight away go to ICC for more clarification. All right, so you can basically Institute of Human-Centered Engineering or iHumEn, we have many other programs that we have from time to time. You can basically go to our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can basically like, follow, and subscribe, so that you can basically keep up to date with the latest and current development in the institute. All right. So I think I thank you very much for your time and your attention. I'll see you again in the next program, inshallah. Assalamualaikum, and had a very good day ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.